Happy Saturday, follow your brushers. This is Pam with Follow Your Brush, and I so appreciate you coming in and checking in on me, seeing what I'm doing and playing. Today I want to talk about working out, warming up with your painting. We warm up just as though athletes warm up, although I don't work out in the gym. I do work out in my studio. What do I mean by warming up? This is where we play. You see a lot of my videos. I'm testing out the salt, testing out the different techniques, different brushes, and then we come back in and we do different things with our water, and we play. But why in the world do we play? And why would I even want to bother to play? Why can't I just watch a tutorial, see what someone does like that, and then do it? That's the age-old question. I want to show you some of my, I know you've watched me play a lot. I've shown you a lot of play videos. But today I want to actually show you some results of my playtime, because we do these playtimes and we do these warm-ups for a reason. It's to try these different brushes, to try the different brush strokes, to try a skinny little brush stroke and see what that does. Look at this little guy. He just, I call him Slappy because I never know where he's going to go. This is just a natural hair. It's called a dagger brush. And he's really fun because I never really quite know what he's going to do for me and the results I'm going to get. So that's why we play. That's why we play. That's why we warm up, to see what we like, what we don't like, what we can do. We can spritz, let this run, and get effects like that. You've seen these different types of videos. But the reason that we do that is to find out what we do like, and then how we might use that later when we're painting. So I've shown you salt, I've shown you saran wrap, I've shown you wet and wet, various things like that. But today I want to show you the results of my playtime. There are times when I come back in here when I am not videotaping, when I'm actually serious about what I'm doing. This one was, I did the other day, and I actually really love it. I'm thinking about maybe cropping this side, this corner, and making it a little smaller. But because of my experiments in times like that, I came in with an attempt to do this moon shot that my grandson had done several years ago, actually. He did it in 2019 at the end of our street. And the moon was just so pretty coming through the clouds. And so I drew a little circle here to keep that area white. I came back in and with different colors, actually. I used some moon glow. I used some blue. I used some gold. I came in, I dried it with the hair dryer. I came back in, softened with a paper towel. And all of these different techniques are things that I learned through playing. Just playing. We talk about playing, just warm-ups. That's why we play. That's why it's so important. Because then when you do want to do a painting, you can come in and actually use what you've learned and what you've found out about your paint and how it reacts with the water, and then put it to work in a more controlled way to try to control it anyway. Watercolor is hard to control. But this is one that I recently did, and I think I'm going to do this as a Christmas gift. I also like this one a lot. I did this one after the hurricane in Florida. I'm from Florida, and I have a lot of friends there. And this one I did wet first, and then I put my pigment colors in there and let the water just do what it wanted to do to let it run. I did the same with my ocean water and some pigments down here on either side, trying to leave a little bit of white, an area to show where you might walk onto the beach. This is familiar to me because I did grow up in Florida. And then with a damp brush without paint, just wet, I came back in while it was damp and did these white strokes to suggest the growth. This one actually didn't take me long. This actually, because I just kind of let the water do what it wanted to do, this came together rather quickly in about maybe 15, 20 minutes. Of course, it's a smaller size as well. Here's one. I did several versions. I worked hard on this one. This was a lesson for me. You can still see my pencil marks. I don't normally use pencil. I have since bought a new pencil that is water soluble from Derwent. It's called Graphitone. And you can sketch, but then when you do your watercolor, your pencil marks will disappear. Sometimes we need them. And my son had taken this picture and I really liked it. This was an exercise in perspective, practicing my perspective, doing my edges around, which is similar to a negative painting, and getting different layers in there. And this one was hard for me because of drawing the fly. I did go back in with some ink afterwards to define my fly a little bit, but I also like that one. This is another one that I just, through my playtime, I learned different techniques, and I came in and I love this bird. I did a light sketch of the bird, very light sketch of the bird, just his outline. Then I did a little bit of background on either side, this a little greener on this side, lighter on this side. I came in wet on dry. I let the background dry first. Then I came back in and did my little birdie and the different colors down his chest. I had recently purchased some new gouache. I was playing with that, so I did come back in after it was dry. Again, I've got to stress they're drying in between these stages. Added my gouache to give him a little softness to his little tummy, his little down. And then I did put a little bit of ink down here. Actually, it was in a brush. And added my white spots with my gouache. So that's another one. So I'm trying to just share this to show you how your playtime and warm-ups actually do help you when you go to paint. This is another one that I did wet on wet. I put in my horizon, I put my paint in, and then I added my water and just let the paint and the water do what it wanted to do. And I added some colors while it was wet and just let it run. And then I just walked away and let it dry to come back and see what it would do. And I liked it just the way it was, so I left it alone. So that's another example. It's another one that I really, really like. This is I have a lot of trees in my yard. A bent tree. This is one that I did with my technique of putting my water in just where I want the tree, and then dripping in my pigment and letting it run, directing it a little bit with my brush, letting it dry, come back in. I added these little areas. Probably, I imagine I took my brush and was just kind of dib-dabbing some colors in here just softly to get those effects. And then the same with the bottom. But I especially like the texture in my tree. And that was putting the water on and then the pigment. This is another one of my favorites. In fact, I did this. I saw the signature on it. It was a year ago today. I guess we had snow. And this is called Georgia Snow. We don't often get snow, but when we do, it's very pretty. And so I did the same technique of the water dripping in the pigment with the little soft pity pats of my brush with the water to give softness to the area. It looks like I have a little salt texture in here, maybe just a little bit of salt, and let it dry. So that's what I wanted to share, because you see me playing all the time, but this is why I play, because then when I do go to paint, I have an idea what I want to do. This was a wet on wet. I wet this. I did the trees with the water, and then put in the pigment, the ground, a little bit of ground area. And then I thought it was dry. I actually thought it was totally dry. And I came in here, I was with my damp brush, I was just going to put just a touch of a little bit of a background. And when I wished across it like this, the watercolor was still a little damp and it made those marks. And I left them because I was like, oh, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. That's beautiful. I'm leaving it. I've been showing you salt, saran wrap. Here is a prime example. And this will be my last one I show you. This is a prime example of salt and saran wrap actually in action in an actual painting. You see my salt effects here in the bottom in the trees. I did a lot of purple, a lot of gold, different effects in here. I wasn't really happy with the way it was going, so I just put saran wrap on just this portion of the tree, so not the whole painting. And then when it dried and I took it off, I had these patterns, kind of stained glass patterns, and I went over them with ink to indicate that it might have some leaf shapes and tree shapes. And this one actually floored me. I was amazed at what actually came out. So I wanted to share that because I'm not always playing. I'm not always just sprinkling salt or dripping water or seeing what it does. But these take time, and without a long video, it would be difficult to show beginning to end. So I wanted to show you the results of why do you play so much? Why do you play with the water? Why do you play with your different brushes and techniques? This is why, because then when you go to paint, it pays off and you get some beautiful, beautiful paintings. In my opinion, I know I painted them, but I think they're pretty good. I like them. And those are the techniques and things that I have learned by playing. So I encourage you today to play. As I always tell people in my group, follow your brush, see what it wants to do, let the watercolor play, and you have a great day. Like and subscribe if you're still with me, and thanks for watching. Bye.